Here is the 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport SEL Premium R-Line in Kingfisher Blue Metallic over Vienna Black Leather with blue underlays. This is the 4Motion. We're getting every feature with a more performance turbocharged than the prior gen. You're talking 34 horsepower, 71 pound-feet of torque more than the VR6 engine that we lose because we're only getting a standard turbocharged engine. Is this going to be better now than the Honda and Toyota for the refresh? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rods, and I'm going to go over some pros and cons and the problem that I have, starting with LED headlights, daytime runnings. This is standard. The light bar starts on the SE with technology that goes into the grille. Volkswagen badging that's going to be surrounded by the honeycomb design. Chrome elements is going to surround the front, highlighted with the gloss black elements on the lower bumper trim, getting over 8 inches of clearance. And now going to the first question, Toyota and Honda. Honda is going to have less torque than this. Toyota is going to have less horsepower than this. In the retuned TSI 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder backs 269 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Going to the SE with technology increases your wheels to 20-inch. Otherwise, it's a standard 18-inch. And when you tick the box for the SEL Premium R-Line, it's the only trim that gets these 21-inch wheels. You're going to be receiving 19 mpgs for the city, 26 mpgs for the highway, and you're still able to tow at 5,000 pounds with this retuned turbocharged engine. So when you're thinking, well, we lost the VR6 V6 engine, it had more horsepower, towing capabilities decreased when you went to the turbocharged last year. You don't have that issue and you're getting better MPGs. Comparing against Kia, the Telluride, when you go the SX Prestige X line, that will tow up to 5,500 pounds, and the Nissan Pathfinder for an all-wheel drive or the Rock Creek will tow up to 6,000 pounds. So it's not going to be the best in class. However, we do get the bump from last year's turbocharged engine. Cross Sport badging will still be on the side. The roof rails will get the satin aluminum with the gloss black elements for the shark fin antenna and chrome down the lower skirt. And because this is the top trim, I would have liked to see gloss black around the fenders to make it a little bit more sporty, because that's what they're doing on the lower for the quad exhaust shelf that they're putting. You're not going to have any exhaust tips that's shown. It's going to be tucked underneath. You will receive the chrome that runs underneath the light bar. LED tail lights is going to be standard. Front and rear parking sensors and a 360-degree reverse camera. When you go into Honda and you go Trail Sport, you have to go to the Pilot in order to get increased ground clearance, and still you're not going to increase anything in a payload or towing capacity. So when I'm thinking we got to refresh with this turbocharged, we're still keeping the same towing capabilities as the V6. That's what makes this a little bit more unique. Power liftgate going into 40 cubic feet of storage. The back will set up a little bit, but that's to be expected because of the coupe design. Privacy cover. Having some difficulty here. With the privacy cover. LED interior lights, bag holders on both sides, 12 volt, storage nook underneath the floor. It's going to receive a spare tire. Unfortunately, you have to go to the back seats to increase the cargo to 77.6 cubic feet. It will fold down flat. You'll hear a snap, but it will be 19.2 cubic feet less than the regular Atlas. 12-way power seat adjustment for the driver. Heated, ventilated front seats come standard. 8-way power seat adjustment for the passenger. Standard is a leatherette. This is Vienna leather. Memory for the driver. The SEL starts the leather in the power seat adjustments. Headroom and leg room. Because this is the R-Line, we're going to get those stainless steel pedals. We have a pass-through that is more welcoming front occupants and a lot of space in the footwells. The redesign has just made it a lot more user-friendly and yet keeping it tech driven. Heads-up display, 12-inch infotainment screen with gesture, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, 30 different ambient light colors. And when you click onto these buttons here, like the assist, you can either turn on, turn off, or make the sensitivity a little bit less for your safety. Climatron, this is for your climate control settings. Driving modes, you click here, you have a sport mode and a custom, which when you click onto this, you can tailor a lot of different things to make it a little bit more sporty, in which that exhaust sound, it's going to filter in through the speakers. New rocker, that's going to go into a 360-degree reverse camera, full trajectory for the front and the rear, and you also have this park assist here, which we will try to demonstrate. Park assist feature, it's going to search for an open parking, which I've kind of deliberately placed a couple cars to make it easier for parking purposes. It has found one, and now we're going to hit start. We're going to put it into reverse as it tells you to do so. Let off the brake easy. The vehicle is going to steer in for you for a parallel parking. We're going to pull forward now. And that finishes the parallel parking. And the new technology has, hey Volkswagen, navigate to Volkswagen of Newport Richey, Florida.
Okay, Newport Richey, Center, FL. Drive safely.
Unfortunately, it's just taking us to Newport Richey. We're not too far from the dealership. It's cool that we got that technology because you can speak to the infotainment screen through your speakers, in which you don't have to actually touch the buttons. Slide this open, a wireless charging pad, USB ports, gloss black elements are going to surround the rocker in the new push button start, and here's the key fob for the Atlas Cross Sport SEL R-Line Premium. Another storage tray here. This is going to be a little bit more sporty. It opens up into a deep storage pocket with a USB port, a leather wrapped steering wheel. When you go R-Line opposed to just the SEL, you will get the aesthetics and the steering wheel with the stainless steel pedals. Multi-functionality for the steering wheel with the paddle shifts, and of course we have a digital gauge cluster that can go through an array of information for the driver. The best part though for this refresh is when I click here, I'm going to click onto navigation. Look at this. We now have the navigation on both screens, which that was not able to do in the prior gen. You'll have that carbon fiber look that goes out through the dash. You have a USB port here, so if you want to put a dash cam, you can, next to a auto dimming rear view mirror and a long panel moonroof, all LED interior lights that you just simply touch. Dashboard and the door panel configuring together, and you keep that sporty style. One touch up and down for all the windows, and a deep, wide storage pocket. For the back seats, headroom and leg room. Storage behind both of the front seats. Air vents, heated rear seats, USB ports, push here for your home plug. Cup holders with an armrest. Manual sunshades start on the SE with technology. And look, you just touch it. Eventually it'll come on. You have to touch it kind of hard, but it is very luxurious for the segment that we're in. You get that carbon fiber look that brushes in, the same style for the back, except you have a little tier here for the grab handle that you can fit a large cell phone, and two pockets of storage sliding into the center. The floor isn't completely flat, but you have your own feet space. You're not going to be sharing any butt, shoulder space, leg space, anything like that. And even headroom, it's still doable. So when we're thinking about the rivals, you're getting a lot more interior amenities and more width in the Cross Sport. 269 horsepower, 273 pound-feet of torque out of this 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. And like I was saying on the exterior, as for rival perspective, you are getting a pretty decent amount of horsepower and torque out of such a small engine, especially when you're thinking 5,000 pounds of towing. Now, the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport is known to be more boxy. It's going to feel more like a truck. You sit up higher and you feel like you have more ground clearance than any of the competition. This is not going to be something that you're racing, but to show you some of the differences, we're going to put it into sport mode so you can see how it is engaged with the Tiptronic automatic transmission. The exhaust no filters in. That helps with some of the exterior road noise that also filters in because of the upgraded 21-inch wheels. Going into the SEL R-Line, you'll get the 20-inch wheels, which both of them are going to be comfortable, and it's not going to be much of a difference in sound deadening. Really, the only difference that you'll notice is when you go into an SE, because it's an 18-inch wheel. The seats to these are going to have the most wide profile for your buttocks and contouring around your back. And the back seat has the most space compared to anybody in this class. I'm alright with the sound that's filtering in. It doesn't sound like a drone note. There's a different twist, different vibe to it. It's not quite a V6, but it isn't bad either. And even though the windscreen is sleek, that just makes it feel more sporty. You have plenty of visibility. There isn't any blind spots. It's a box on wheels, even though this is a coupe design vehicle. That's going to take me to some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros. With this refresh, we have captured a lot more storage throughout the interior. I like the upgraded screen. I dislike how it comes out of the dash in that there's not any physical buttons for it. It's all a touchpad, but I do like that they have a quick touchpad underneath it so it accesses your daily use amenities. Another pro is you get that USB port that's right by the rear view mirror. So if you're thinking about integrating a dash cam, now you don't have to worry about running wires all over the vehicle, because I know myself, when I ran the wires, it takes you an extra 20-30 minutes to do so just for a front camera. You don't have to worry about that here. The cons is you're still getting a lot of harder materials. They do mask it relatively well, but because this is the top of the line trim, I would like to see it a lot more soft in the interior. I like that you get the manual sunshades, and they start this off at a lower tier. So you're not having to spend a lot of dough in order to get some of the amenities you would get like on the rival. The vehicle does feel wide and it does feel long. And you're not going to have a lot of dynamics, even though you have 4Motion. And the turbocharge is peppy, so when you give it some gas, it will go. Changing the mode to a comfort mode, it's going to feel a little bit more heavy, but it still changes into the Tiptronic relatively well. This is what I mean by the width. You saw how close those vehicles were to me, and I'm almost on the sidewalk. The big problem that I have with the Atlas Cross Sport is it still drives like a truck, in which it would be nice if they offered an adaptive suspension to soften it up. It does have a little bit more lag too whenever you're pushing the gas, especially in comfort mode. If you go into sport mode, it does take a lot of that away, but I don't want to necessarily drive it in sport mode all the time. So I would probably just do it as a custom, in which you can have the exhaust filter in or not if you like, and you're still getting pretty decent MPGs, and it doesn't feel heavy. As for comparable rivals, this is hands down one of the best deals of all the classes, except for Kia and Nissan. They will bring some competition in which Nissan takes it a step further because you're getting 6,000 pounds of towing. Plus, it's a third row variant, which this is a 2-row variant, so you would have to go to the standard Atlas. But then when you go that route, that's the best in class for leg room for third row occupants. Turn radius is at 2.5 lanes. This is regular mode. And you can see it just doesn't want to be engaged. It feels very heavy. I'm really mashing the gas pedal. So that's what happens when you go to eco mode in this. But when you change it into sport, immediately it's a night and day difference. The car transforms itself, but it still has that truck drive. Going to be more sport derived than luxury. Even the seat cushions are going to be a little bit more firm. And when I'm thinking SEL Premium, this is another thing I kind of wish that they would have entertained, because it would be nice if everything was a lot more soft, because they knocked it out of the park with storage, towing capabilities, leg headroom. It's a full box inside, but outside you have that sporty coupe design. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like. And I'd like to thank Volkswagen of Newport Richey for giving us, are you ready? It's a sentence. 2024 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport SEL Premium R line for our car.